welcome back to another pick a card reading on my channel. Very excited to have you here. Thank you so much for having a seat at my table. Today's pick a card reading, we're going to take a look at the person that you're dating or maybe your person of interest, and just get a little bit more insider info, get a little bit of a vibe check from them. And yeah, we'll see what's going on with your connection. So we have 4 piles to choose from today. Pile 1 is going to be paired with a special love message as well as the white howlite crystal. We have pile 2, which is also going to be paired with, all of these are going to be having like a special like little love message with the hearts on top. But piles 2 crystal is the pink melting quartz. Pile 3's crystal is malachite. And pile 4, haven't forgotten about you, is opal. So if you clicked on this video because you knew immediately which pile you wanted to see, I will link the timestamps below. If not, I'll allow some time for you to take a deep breath and for you to really meditate on the piles and choose which one really resonates with you the most. I will say, like, if you're kind of drawn to multiple piles, maybe multiple crystals, really try and go with that voice in your head, your gut intuition. Just really listen to your inner guidance to kind of really choose, like, okay, if I needed to know one message in these piles today, which one would you choose? Now, of course, if you are drawn to multiple piles, please, by all means, watch all of them. There may be a message in multiple piles for you today. Who knows? Maybe. And then always remember to take what resonates, leave the rest. These are very general readings. So while some of the messages in the pile may resonate for you, some might not, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that it's not your pile or your message. So that's my advice. So I will give you just a few moments to really take a deep breath, like I said, and meditate on the piles. Pause the video if you need to take more time. And yeah, looking forward to your reading. I'll see you over there. Bye. Okay, what's up, pile 1? I'm really happy to have you here. So if you chose the white howlite crystal, then this is your message. And I think, if you've watched a few of my other videos, you know by now that I'm just getting into crystals. But I love these little mini ones that I've gotten recently as a gift. They're just super cute and fun. And I really felt drawn to using them today. So I think, like I said, I'm kind of just newer to the crystal world, but I'm having fun learning all about them. So I think white howlite is meant to be a stone for patience, and like new ideas and focus and just really helping you achieve that patience. And I'm getting Slack messages as this goes on. So that is awesome. Sorry about that in the background. But anyway, so if maybe, your person of interest or the person that you're dating right now, whatever that might look like for you, maybe you need a little bit of patience in this scenario. Maybe not. That might resonate with you in some way, or however it does resonate with you. That might be kind of like the message that you needed to hear today. So we'll keep this message here, or excuse me, this stone here. And then oh my God. So funny. So the decks that I'm using today are the Lovely Omens Tarot deck. And then I think this one is called the Lovers Oracle deck. So each pile gets just one message from this Lovers Oracle deck. Yours is a little bit dark, so hopefully you can see how pretty this is. It just kind of reminds me of like 2 people just kind of, honestly, it kind of feels like they're coming out of nature or like a tree. So again, going along with that patience vibe. And then I did actually take a peek at the back of your card here. And it's just so funny that you chose the white howlite, which again, can represent patience in some ways. And your message on the back of your opening card is wait. Don't rush into it. Allow nature to take its course. I love tarot for this reason. And I did not look at any of the cards before I put them down on your pile. Like I said, I'm kind of new to crystals too. So I even chose the white howlite myself for pile 1 specifically, felt super, super drawn to it. And then I sort of was like, wait, let me double check that this does mean patience. So I kind of did some quick research on it before I started filming, and I love this for you, pile 1. Okay, so let's see what your tarot cards have to say about this patience message that seems to be a theme for you. So I have 5 tarot cards for you today. Again, just kind of looking at if you have a person of interest right now, or if you just started dating someone. That's kind of like the theme of this video. I wasn't necessarily thinking too much like if you were already in an established relationship, but of course, if you saw this video and that is your situation, there might still be a message in here for you. So let's take a look at what your 5 tarot cards have to say. So you got the 10 of Pentacles, the 6 of Swords, okay, the Queen of Cups, the 9 of Pentacles, okay, and the 8 of Cups. Can we see the cards here in the video? I'm trying to like make everything straight so that you can see it. Okay. All right. I really like your pile and your cards, pile 1. I think what's kind of interesting for me, at least what I started picking up on, is this sort of like, again, the theme of patience is kind of showing up for me a lot here. I think especially your opening cards really are, you know, the 10 of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles, which sometimes for me, like, we'll get to the Pentacles part in a minute, but sometimes for me, like in the court cards, the later the number, I don't know why that makes sense, like the higher the number, I guess, to me kind of represents like a little bit more like maturity, or like in the Pentacle sense, like taking a lot of time. And I don't mean to say that in a way to like make you panic, but it's almost like maturing into the relationship, or like easing into it. Like, again, it's just interesting how you have that like, wait, don't rush into it, because that's sort of the message that I'm also getting from the 10 of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this is kind of like a slow burn, or this will be sort of like a slow burn relationship for you. Or, you know, again, like if you're just like casually dating someone, like that's fine too. But I do get the sense that this feels a little bit more like long term in the sense. And the reason I kind of feel that way is like I'm kind of picturing like 2 people who, or multiple, you know, whatever. I'm not trying to say like it has to be just 2 people, but in a sense, the vision that I'm getting is like 2 people sort of like they met, like they know, it's almost like you both sort of like know that the other person is like the person that they're going to be with. So like, why rush into it kind of, because you just like already know you're going to be together. Like, I actually wouldn't even be surprised if there was some sort of like volatility, you know, at the beginning of your relationship almost, where you're almost sort of like walking away from that sort of sense of like overly reacting to things, or, you know, something that just feels like immature, right? But you're sort of like, even if you've only been dating this person or interested in this person for like a few months, like it feels like you're sort of like moving away from the more immature aspects of the relationship and into something more long-term and stable, but then also you're not rushing into it. Like it feels like a slow burn. Like I'm almost now picturing like a candle melting, you know, like where it's like, oh, like it's not going to rush to get to like that, like the bottom of the candle. Like it's going to be like a really, really slow burn type of thing. And I think that you're really going to have a chance to really, really get to know one another on a really deep level. And, you know, you're going to be like almost like in control of your emotions throughout the process. Like it's almost like you just sort of like I said, like you kind of know, right? Like you almost like, it's like, oh, I already know this is like my person. Like, or maybe they feel the same way. In fact, I would assume that they feel the same way, just based on what I'm seeing here. And it just feels like walking away from, or like moving away from a very like I said, like either like immature, like dating style, or like way of reacting to things. And the reason I kind of say that is because you have like a lot of like cups energy here, and sort of like, you know, with the swords kind of can be like words too. But I sort of like see you guys like moving into this like mature space, and maybe like walking away from some sort of like emotions that maybe like in past relationships, or you know, whatever, kind of like felt like it was like holding you back in a sense. And then this person may have come into your life. I do kind of feel like this is more of like a person that you are currently seeing. and you just sort of like feel that like safety and emotional maturity, I guess is the way that I feel. You guys could be older. You don't have to be. Ooh, I just kicked my camera. Sorry. You don't have to be. But that's just kind of like how I see it. Like, I feel like this mature, emotionally stable energy and really, really like easing into a relationship kind of sense. And it is really awesome how you have the wait, don't rush into it, oracle card as well. And I almost wish that I waited to read this because that would really just kind of like solidify like the vibes that I'm getting. But yeah, let me actually pull a few more cards for you using the same tarot deck. I love this tarot deck. I think it's gorgeous. You don't really see it too often, or at least I haven't. So let's get maybe 3 more cards. Okay. So, whoa. Cards are flying out. Yeah, it's actually kind of funny, the cards that are coming out too, like, the 3 of Wands kind of speaks to like having some patience. And I kind of feel like even though the Knight of Cups isn't like, if you got like the Knight of Pentacles, I might even be like, this is definitely about patience. But the Knight of Cups, like, it's just sort of like, that's why I kind of feel like this is definitely like somebody that you're definitely sort of seeing, or maybe sort of like came in with sort of like a new offer for you, like romantically. And you just sort of feel safe with this person, and maybe are like approaching this relationship a little bit differently than you had in the past. And it's sort of like, I keep hearing like healing too. Like, it's sort of like healing your wounds maybe that you might have. You have a lot of like Queen energy. And even if you're not necessarily like identify as female, that could really just, again, like, I feel like you're just like regal in the way that you're approaching this. And I know that sounds so literal given that they're queens. But I think what I mean by that is kind of like, I don't even know how to put this into words or articulate it well. But someone who's like, again, like in charge, like they feel like they're in charge. You're in control of your emotions. You're in control of what you say. And sort of like, again, I feel like maybe there was like this explosive past for you where you're almost like, because this person feels like maybe emotionally safe, you feel like you can picture the long term more clearly now. And so you don't need to necessarily go down like that sort of negative path of like unhealthy behavior. And I'm not saying that like on your end, like maybe that's something that you've experienced in the past too. And maybe those like past experiences have really kind of made you into this super strong sort of, Queen of Cups, Queen of Swords energy. That's sort of like putting you on the path of meeting this person, or, maybe that's why that person came into your life with this offer. Like maybe they've seen your growth and are like, hey, like that's something I'm very attracted to. You also have the 3 of Wands, which can sometimes speak about, patience, kind of like waiting for your ship to come in. I think your ship is here, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't want to like overly promise like the long-term, aspects of the relationship, but I do kind of feel this is very stable, very mature energy, very much in charge. And, I would have to say, honestly, like, I would hope that you can comment back and, in a year or even more long term, whatever that means to you, and say like, hey, yeah, like this completely resonated. So pile 1, love this for you. I hope that this resonated. Please leave a comment if it did. And yeah, these are all the messages I have for you today. I love this reading for you, pile 1. So patience is sort of like the key theme for you today. When it comes to the person of interest or the person that you're dating. But it seems exciting. Like, I feel like this is awesome. Like, who wouldn't want this in their lives, So, okay, pile 1, that's all I have for you today in this reading. I will be uploading more videos to my Saturday Vibe Check series. So stay tuned for that. We have our first one launching this Saturday. I'm actually filming this video on February 13th. So I'm trying to get it up for Valentine's Day or around Valentine's Day, obviously keeping with the theme. So stay tuned for more videos. And yeah, check out my Saturday Vibe Check series. I'm excited about it. We're going to be kind of just like every Saturday, I'm going to try and post a video that really kind of like captures the vibe of the weekend. Sorry, I realized I can't say vibe clearly. Anyway, pile 1, thank you so much for your time today. Can't wait to see you again. Bye. Okay, hey everyone who chose pile two. Welcome to your reading. So today we're going to be looking at the pile of cards that you've chosen, just kind of looking at the person that maybe you have an interest for, or maybe that you just started dating and that you're very much interested in, or maybe you're just sort of like casually dating and you're kind of like interested in one person and you just kind of like want to see like where that ends up going. I was kind of picturing this more along the dating sense, but if you are currently in a long-term relationship or maybe even a marriage, I don't know, and you came across this reading, stay tuned. If you were drawn to this pile, there might be a message in here for you. So we will start off with taking a look at your crystal. And I am just getting into crystals. So if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that I'm just learning about them. So I love these little mini ones that I got recently. I think they're super cute. But I think this is a pink melting quartz, which again, I'm just getting into crystals. So if this isn't like the meaning, please don't hesitate to like call me out in the comments, because like I said, I'm trying to learn, I love that. But yeah, so when I'm looking at sort of like the meaning of melting quartz, I think the biggest takeaway for me was like that sense of like serenity and like security almost. Like I feel very calm looking at it. And yeah, so maybe there's sort of like a message in there about this person or in this reading about sort of like a serene sort of vibe, which we love. We love that for you. Okay, so let's start off with, I did this in pile one as well. So every pile gets one oracle card that I'm going to sort of open the reading with, sort of like flipping things around. Why not? And this is the Lover's Oracle. So again, kind of going along the message of like a serene vibe. I'm just kind of noticing like, look at this dove. Gorgeous. So let's see what your message is. Okay, so you may not always understand why certain things happen. However, there is always a higher purpose to the events in your life. Through turmoil, a blessing will soon be revealed. I love that. So maybe you're going through something, pile two, where, you sort of needed this sort of like calming sort of energy or this vibe. Maybe this person that might be coming into your life, like maybe this reading, why you were drawn to it is because maybe you just went through a breakup and, you want to kind of understand a little bit about who's coming up next. So let's see what the cards have to offer. So you have 5 tarot cards today, and we'll pull a couple more cards as the reading progresses. But today I am using the Lovely Omens Tarot deck, which I'll try and link below. Okay, so pile 2, you have the Lovers. Oh my God. What a fantastic way to open your reading. I love that. You have the 7 of Cups. You have the 6 of Pentacles. You have the 3 of Cups, okay, and the Star. Okay, I love this pile two. I think there's definitely some resonating moments, at least for me, coming from the stone that you chose, or excuse me, the crystal that you chose, and your opening oracle card about sort of like there's sort of like a higher purpose and maybe like a little bit of like the unseen. Like a little bit of like the magic almost, you know what I mean? It's kind of like what I'm getting. And I think there's sort of like this sense of sort of like trusting in the universe and like what it has to offer you. And maybe it's when it comes to this connection that you're here about, or, about maybe like hoping for a certain connection with somebody. I think there's sort of like an element here about like really trusting in the universe and just trusting in the fact that like in the unknown, I'm almost hearing this weird message. It's sort of like, don't fear the unknown, like trust in it kind of thing. So that's just kind of like the feeling that I'm getting here. I think even sometimes too, like when I think about the 6 of Pentacles in traditional tarot, and I've heard some other tarot readers on YouTube, actually, I think I really liked this interpretation, I think from Kino Tarot, where she sort of sees, and I do as well, sort of sees the 6 of Pentacles as sort of like a spirit guide card. Obviously, in this interpretation of the tarot deck, like we have, 6 cats, but it's sort of like the 6 of Pentacles is about sort of like generosity in a sense. So So I kind of see like maybe this is like a moment in your life where you kind of need to trust that there's like unseen forces behind the scenes, like wanting to help you in either this connection or, in dating in general. I think that you do have like a soulmate energy, and maybe that person is out there for you. Again, maybe this person has the potential to be that for you. I do kind of also get the sense, though, that there's an element of like having fun with the choices that you have. So I don't know, pile two, if maybe you're like stressing a little bit about maybe you're dating multiple people, which is fine. We love that. We love that for you. But maybe it's sort of like this soulmate energy, or like that person that you're sort of like hoping is the one, will come when you sort of like relax a little bit and trust and lean into the vibes of the universe. Because I do, even though like for whatever reason, and I never see in this particular tarot deck, I never interpret the star this way, but for whatever reason, I pictured the two hands of these two people depicted on the lovers. Like, even though it's like the same hand clearly in the artwork, for whatever reason, my mind was like, it's two different people like coming in to hold this star together. But I think in order to get there, you're going to have to trust that there are some more unseen forces like behind the scenes, like trying to get you there. And in the meantime, like have fun. Like I think it's about like going out with your friends and celebrating and going to like events and parties and whatever, whatever you're invited to. It's almost like don't say no. Maybe you're like a little bit overwhelmed by choices right now, like, oh, do I want this person? Do I want that person? Is it this that I'm interested in? Or like, maybe if you are dating a lot of people right now, which again, totally awesome for you. Like maybe you're like, oh, like I love this aspect of being in this sort of mini relationship with this person. And I love this aspect of that other person that I dated. And wow, like this person is great too. And maybe it's about sort of like identifying the things that you really, really like in each of these people. And okay, pile two. Sorry, my phone battery died in the middle of filming. So as I was saying, I think, if you're sort of a person who has a lot of choices in the dating world right now, I think even though it's fun to do that, go out and have that fun and make those connections. But I think it's really going to come down to like, if you're kind of in the space where you're like, I'm ready to meet my person, or maybe you're hoping that this new person that you've introduced into the mix, I don't know, whatever, maybe you're hoping that they're your person just based on some initial vibes on like the first couple of dates. I think what's going to get you to this sort of long-term relationship, which is maybe something that you're sort of looking for, just, maybe deep down. I think it's going to come down to like really identifying what it is that you need and want in a relationship. And I think from there, you'll sort of start to weed through the choices and really be able to like come to an understanding of like what it is that you want in life. If you really are in a position in your life right now to, really get into a relationship that deep. And maybe even if it's not something that you're looking for right now, like maybe you're just like, yeah, no, like I am totally vibing, like love the casual dating scene, love this or that. I think it's still a good practice to sort of understand like what really makes you tick as a person and sort of like what your needs and wants are in a relationship, or just, and I think that helps us like navigate relationships in general, but then also yourself a little bit. Not saying that you need to understand yourself better, but I think you kind of get the gist. So kind of like as you're going through this process right now of meeting a lot of people, making a lot of different connections, have fun with it, really identify what that is for you. And I think what I kind of can see is like two people just sort of like coming together. It's almost like by doing that, the universe is going to just sort of like bring this person, almost like you're going to like come into alignment with them. And again, maybe you sort of like clicked on this reading because you just started seeing someone that might fit that bill. And I think the more you can get into the practice of, hey, like I need this type of person for me. I think the more you can do that type of awareness and work on yourself, that person's going to come to alignment, babe. So I think that's just kind of like the message here too. It's almost like it's a mixture of trusting in the universe and magic, and then also doing some of the heavy lifting yourself, which it's not really that heavy, but I think getting to know yourself is important, and I think we can all benefit from it. So I'm going to pull you, I'm hearing 2 more cards from the Lovely Omens Tarot deck just to kind of solidify what I'm saying here, or maybe just get some extra messages for you today. Oop, holy cow. Well, I think you're going to get 3 cards. Okay, let's see what you have here. You have the 6 of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, and the World. Okay, so immediately I got the sense of someone who is hyper independent and maybe a little bit resisting of letting that go. Like you're almost like, yeah, no, like I'm fine. Like I love dating a lot of different people. I love all the connections that I have. I love being a little bit more casual, but I think there might be somebody there for you. Or again, if you clicked on this reading because you just started seeing someone that you're sort of like, maybe I'm kind of like changing my ways a little bit. I think that's kind of like happening for you in a sense. Like maybe there's the end to, like a really, I don't know why I want to say this, like a wild good time, like a little bit more settling feeling, but and not in the way that's like, oh girl, you settled, or, I didn't mean to say girl, but maybe that's what you resonate with and that message just resonated. So yes, I think there's kind of like an end to it. Like maybe like you're a little bit getting tired of maybe like seeing a lot of different people and like playing the game a little bit. And maybe there's one person that sort of came into your life recently and you're like, holy cow, I could see maybe that long-term potential with this person, but I'm not sure yet. I think what's going to sort of like make you more sure is, like I said earlier, and I'm not saying like you have to like continue to resist this sort of like change into a more stable relationship with someone, or maybe just like a commitment to someone. But I think what's going to help you feel maybe more stable in doing that, like maybe more comfortable in making the decision to stop seeing a lot of different people. Again, if that's your message, I think it's going to come down to like really understanding like what it is that you want and need from that person in your life. So, and I think that's beautiful. I think you can find yourself in something that's really mature, long-lasting, stable, and also, someone who might just kind of like get you. And maybe even saying no to a lot of people that maybe you feel like you have a profound connection with, but don't meet those needs or those wants, being a little bit stricter when it comes to that. And I think that sort of is going to put you in this really stable sort of relationship with somebody. And again, maybe that's why you're here. Maybe you just started seeing someone and they really fit that sort of bill for you. So anyway, pile 2, those are all the messages I have for you today. I hope that this reading resonated. A lot of good stuff in here, and I'm really excited for you. I think stay tuned for some more videos coming up. I have a new series, everything's a new series. I just started this channel. But I'm filming this on February 13th, and I'm hoping to get it posted tomorrow for Valentine's Day, or at least this week. And then on Saturday, I'm going to be launching a Saturday vibe check series where every Saturday morning, I try to post a video that really kind of explores all the different things that you might need to know for that weekend. Kind of like, hey, like let's sit down, let's have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, whatever, and let's sort of like check the vibes. So it's going to be a good time. Stay tuned for that. And anyway, pile 2, those are all the messages I have for you today. Good luck with everything, and I hope this resonated with you. Bye. Okay, hello pile 3, and welcome to your reading. In today's pick a card reading, we're going to take a look at, maybe if you're dating someone, you kind of like them a lot, or maybe just a little bit, you're kind of interested to see where it might be going or how they feel. Just kind of exploring this new connection. Like I said in some of the other piles, this could be, I was really kind of thinking of this reading more along the lines of like dating. But if you're in a long-term connection, maybe even married perhaps, and you were really drawn to this reading, drawn to one of the piles, and you're here, there might still be a message in there for you. So stay tuned, keep watching, take what resonates, leave the rest. Okay. So pile 3, you chose, the malachite crystal today. And if you've watched any of my other videos, which since I'm very new to YouTube, there's only a few, but you might know that I am pretty new to crystals. just in general. I've always been drawn to them. I think they're really pretty, but I never really got into like their individual meanings or, anything like that. So I'm very new, but I got these crystals recently as a gift, and they're kind of mini and they're adorable, and I love them, and I'm very excited to use them today. But I believe that malachite is really known as sort of like a transformative stone. And also I believe it has some healing benefits to the heart chakra. So, anything that you might need to absorb some of like the more negative energies, some of the darker energies. Maybe that's why you chose this pile today. Maybe that's why you were drawn to it. So let's get into your reading, and we will see what is up with the person that you're interested in. Okay. So every pile today got one oracle card from the Lover's Oracle deck. And these cards are like really cool, like art wise. I love the artistic direction on the front of each card. I think they're awesome. But each card on the back has a very special message. Twin flames. Your passion ignites. Okay, well, I guess we don't have to get into the rest of your reading, pile 3. You got it made. No. Okay, so I love this. So twin flames, it's, if you resonate with the concept of twin flames, I sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I like the idea of a soulmate, of someone who, maybe you're sort of destined to spend your life with, or this lifetime with. Twin flames could also, you can also resonate with the twin flame in that sense as well. So think of it, twin flames, soulmate, however you sort of resonate with that sort of message. Either way, I think there's sort of a vibe of destiny to twin flame or soulmates, and I think that might come up in your card. So we'll see. But that could be really interesting. So, obviously if you just started dating someone, I don't want to put pressure on the connection by being like, this is your soulmate. Because, you really need to get to know someone and your needs and your wants in a relationship. And if they, I don't want to like put anyone on the wrong path here, but there might be a potential for the long term. We'll say that. We'll go along the lines of that. How about that? So let's get into your tarot cards. I'm just going to pop this over to the side. You have 5 tarot cards today. So we'll see if that twin flames or soulmate message resonates even more. This one's upside down. I am not reading reversals today. So you have the 4 of Wands. You have the 10 of Wands. Okay. You have the 5 of Cups. You have the Hanged Man. And your final card is the Knight of Wands. Okay, I think it's kind of funny. I've been kind of like back and forth throughout this entire reading for every pile on if I should have read the oracle card first, because typically I like to get the oracle card reading in last to kind of confirm the messages. But I think it's kind of fun how in your case, it literally says your passion ignites. Like you have like the Knight of Wands, which is like coming in hot and heavy. And then, and then also like the 10 of Wands, like the 4 of Wands, you have like a ton of wand energy, a lot of fiery energy here, just in general. And we can get into some of like the more individual meanings of the cards, but I think it's so interesting. I almost feel like, energy is flowing. There is a lot of tension, good, maybe a little bit bad too. I don't want to say bad, but maybe like bad in like the like sexy way, in this connection that you might be asking about today. So I kind of love that for you, pile 3. So I think with that, there's a couple sort of like messages. And I think, with a lot of passion, and I'm kind of getting like something, like a couple messages here. So like one is like, we obviously open the reading with the potential for a long-term partner and a soulmate or a twin flame, however you resonate. And I think that's great. And I sort of went into my little spiel about like, well, I don't want to put too much pressure on the connection, like things like that. I think that is actually your message, is to not put that much pressure on your connection and to really sort of, even though it might be like super fiery and passionate and, heated, like maybe this person even like came into your life like hot and heavy and they were like just swept you off your feet. There might be like a strong like sexual connection or like a physical connection, if you're at that age. And I think that's just very, very prominent here. I do think that, you don't have to like just because there is this like spark of attraction at this very beginning stage. Again, the way that I'm sort of reading each pile is like dating, like beginning stages of a relationship. So I kind of feel like this is kind of like the beginning stages, but if it's not, that's totally fine too. But I feel like with all this fiery energy, like kind of need to like reel it in a bit, like there's a potential for some like heated words and some disappointment, I guess is kind of like what I'm seeing. But I think the message is like you might be really deeply connected to this person. And as a result, like when things do get a little bit more passionate or heated in that sense, like don't worry, like you still like they might be like kind of like emotionally mature in a sense, to sort of like talk things through and like work things through or like even grow as a person. Maybe like they're not even like immediately like aware of some of their more heated or passionate traits. I know sometimes like this is like me, like I tend to like fly off the handle sometimes. I'm just like, I'm so like passionate about everything and emotional. And I kind of get the sense that person like is like that, like an Aries or maybe like a Leo or something like that, where they're just sort of like do first, think later, which could cause a lot of hurt sometimes. And if the person, I get the sense that they're very aware of this though, and like they're willing to grow because of the fact, or maybe you're like that and maybe you're just now sort of like coming into awareness of that and like willing to grow out of it or willing to grow through it. But the message I think that I'm getting like at the center is like sometimes with disappointment, like it doesn't mean that it's like cause there is like this energy of like disappointment, like right at the center of your reading. Right. And it's sort of like maybe like because things, for whatever reason, I keep going on this like heated energy, sort of like tension, sort of maybe there's like a conversation that gets too heated and passionate, like one way or another. And it leads to like a big fight or a big blow up. And then, you're sort of like, oh my God, like, is it over? Like, all these things. And it's like, I think this person gives me this like deep stability that I think you can trust in, that things can get heated and passionate. And then still that person will still be there, because they're sort of like, maybe they feel deeply connected to you. Maybe you feel deeply connected to them, even like in these early stages. I think there's sort of like another message sort of coming through on the disappointment sense, where you may have come to this reading. And I don't want to scare anyone. Again, like this is a general reading, so like don't get scared by me saying anything. But if you came to this reading thinking about a specific person, maybe like you kind of realize that spark of energy is just that spark of energy, right? That spark of attraction, I should say. And that's totally fine, because I think in knowing that and discovering that, you're probably going to find the one. Like maybe like you're sort of drawn to that type of person all the time. And maybe this person, again, that you're sort of asking about today is along those lines of like, you're like at the beginning, like it's like instantly attracted, like physical attraction, like all these attraction points. You're attracted to this person in many, many different ways, but you sort of feel like they're not that stable, like kind of like the opposite of like the first interpretation that I was reading. And that can kind of be scary because of maybe like in the past, you've sort of had to like go your own way and you're sort of carrying that burden with you now. And I think that what is sort of like interesting for me is I think you're going to find a lot of happiness, long-term happiness with someone who maybe you want that. Maybe you want that passionate person. Like maybe you need that in your life. And what's important though is like if you really sort of like dig deep and say like, why do I need that passion, or why do I need that spark of attraction? Like, is it because it's actually what I need as a person, or is it maybe speaking to some sort of like childhood wound or something, like that, like, wow, I'm getting deep. Pile 3, we are getting deep today. So there's a few things, right? So I think one interpretation and one sort of like vision that I'm kind of getting from this is like, you're with this person, things are going to get heated sometimes, but it's okay. The other one is maybe it's time to move away from that type of person. Like, I know that might be confusing. So take whichever path resonates for you. If you're like, no, like I'm good, like this is like what I want and need, and you've sort of like, you have that awareness, fine, go with it. Cool. If you're the other way, I think, which is kind of like now the way that I'm kind of like seeing for the full pile is I think it's okay. I think it's okay to feel disappointed that maybe you did it again. Maybe this person is very attractive from a physical sense only, or like there's something else, that I'm getting. It's sort of like like if only. I think the message is like, it's okay. Like, don't cry over the spilled milk. Like, now you're just better for knowing what it is that you do want or need in a relationship. I'm kind of like hot for this topic because I just read pile 2. So if you came from pile 2, I think there's sort of like an extended message here a little bit about wants and needs. But anyway, I think I'm kind of seeing that where it's sort of like you're almost like done with that spark only type of person. Like you're done carrying this torch for that type of person. And maybe you came here because you're like, I don't know. I don't know if I could do it again, which is totally fine. Again, don't make any sort of major decisions based on this reading. Like really just dig deep and find the message that might console you in this moment. But anyway, I think if you can kind of start to see things a little bit differently learn about yourself, like maybe go into, find some self-awareness about like what it is that makes you really attracted to that type of person. And so when this type of person does come into your life hot and heavy, you can kind of be like, nope, we're not doing that again. And you can kind of like find your way to like more of like a long-term happiness. Like, it's almost like you don't have to like get rid of all the passion. Like there could be either this person that just came into your life that you're asking about today could be that person that like, hey, they're the spark of attraction person that you're maybe trying to move away from. Maybe that scares you. And that's okay, because when you get to know them, you're going to see that actually I can still have everything that I want and need. I can still have that passionate relationship. Just because I was attracted to that for the wrong reasons in the past doesn't mean that I can't have that now or for the long term or for my long-term happiness. Like everyone's kind of different, right? So like other connections that may have felt like this in the past maybe were disappointing for you, but maybe either this person or maybe once you walk away from this person, like somebody else coming in might still kind of have that sort of like bad boy, bad girl energy, that like spark of attraction type of like energy that you're really attracted to that has hurt you in the past. And you might be scared, and that's okay. Just go with the flow, try and like understand, again, get at the root of why you may be attracted to that type of person. And I think your wants and needs will really kind of like shine through, and maybe it will get you to the point of saying like, no, actually I do need that, but I need it in a more stable way that puts me on the path of long-term happiness. I hope this makes sense because I feel like I'm talking in circles. Okay, so we're going to get just 2 more cards. It's getting dark in here, so I'm going to turn my lights on. But I'm going to get 2 more cards for you from the Lovely Omens Tarot deck, which is what I'm using today. I forgot to intro that, which I love the artwork on this. You may have seen it in some other tarot readings on YouTube. But let's just get 2 more cards for you today. Okay. You have the Magician. I love that because I think it's kind of like saying that to me kind of feels like it's like you have all the tools now to sort of make that assessment about either this person or the next person or any person, really coming into your life. And I do think it's okay to confidently say like, no, like I need that passion and whatever from that person. And just because I've been hurt in the past or disappointed in the past doesn't mean that either this person that you're asking about today or the next person is going to hurt me. And I think that's totally, totally okay. So you got the 6 of Swords. And yeah, I kind of get the sense of, you really sort of like moving away from those feelings that I was kind of mentioning earlier. Like if you're, like I said, I'm talking in circles and like repeating myself a lot. So I really apologize, but I'm really like hot for this topic right now. It's like you maybe experienced connections where it felt so profound and you were like, oh my God, this is my soulmate, or like, oh my God, this is my twin flame. And then it just sort of like fizzled out and didn't go anywhere. And because you maybe felt that because of the intense passion that maybe that person was bringing to the table, but they couldn't necessarily bring anything else to the table, right? So it's kind of like this past energy that I'm feeling. I see you sort of like being wiser now. and really sort of like moving away from that sort of energy and into like more stable ground with yourself so that you can sort of like navigate those like muddy waters of dating. Yeah, I think that's like the message. Pile 3 is, I think that you're maybe the person that is looking for your soulmate or your twin flame. I don't want to say yes or no that the person that you're here asking about is that person for you, but I think it comes from you. I think that confidence, you have it now. You are wiser for some of the mistakes maybe. I've been there. I don't want to be like, you made mistakes. But, maybe you feel like it's like, oh, like this type of person again. Like, I was with Jack like 2 years ago. He did the exact same thing to me. This person's going to be the same way. And I think one, that's kind of like a limiting belief. But I think two, you're wiser now. And I think you can navigate that decision a little bit more clearly now. It's kind of like the vibe that I'm getting. So pile 3, I hope that this made sense. Oh, and you also had malachite, which is kind of like a transformation sort of stone and sort of protecting you from like negative energy, right? Remember at the top of the reading? So I think that's really cool. I think you have transformed and are moving away from those fears or those limiting beliefs. And you're choosing the right people for you now. So that's so fantastic. Pile 3, I love that for you. Okay, well, those are all the messages I had for you, pile 3. Stay tuned for more videos. I'm filming this on February 13th, hoping to get it up for Valentine's Day. Wish me luck. Yes, big dreams here. And then I have, I'll be launching a new series on my channel called Saturday Morning Vibe Check. And it's really like, the whole point of it is just to kind of like revisit or maybe visit for the first time some of the energy going around or surrounding you for the weekend, and just sort of like sitting down, having a cup of coffee, getting cozy, and just being like, all right, what's the vibe, girl? What's the vibe this weekend? So stay tuned for that. I'll try to post that every Saturday if I can, or at least every weekend. And yeah, first one is coming out this Saturday, February 17th. So stay tuned. It'll be exciting. I'm excited about it. Anyway, pile 3, thank you so much for your time today. I wish you the best of luck. And yeah, comment, like, subscribe if this resonated, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, pile 4, welcome to your reading. So in today's pick a card reading, we're going to take a look at, the person that you may have just started dating. The kind of vibe I was getting was like, if you were to like to ask like one of your best friends, like, hey, I'm kind of like dating this new person. Like, can I tell you all about them? Like, want to kind of like gossip a bit. So kind of just like checking in on that vibe. And then also, just want to say, if I was thinking about this reading more along the lines of like, if you're dating, but if you are someone who is in a long-term relationship, maybe even a marriage, and you're still drawn to the video, drawn to this pile or multiple piles, keep watching. This reading might have a message specifically for you in it. So without further ado, let's get started. So I use these like little mini crystals today. I think they're adorable. I got them as a gift recently and I was really excited to use them. So you chose the opal. I hope you can kind of see how like it is very opalescent, if that's a word. But I think, and again, I may have said this, and I know I've said this in one of my other videos where I'm just starting to get into crystals and their meanings. So I'm always open to, I don't want to say like criticism, but sure. So if you have like more meanings that I'm offering here, like feel free to comment below and, help me learn because I'm just getting into it. Honestly, I always just thought like there was like a couple of them that I knew the meanings for and that I was really drawn to and just kind of like moved on with my life. But I think, I love crystals. I think they're beautiful. And yeah, I should just learn more about them in general. So anyway, so if you chose this beautiful opal crystal today, I think opal for me, when I was doing some research on opal, I came across a lot of like really like, I don't want this video to get like, banned, but basically like very strong physical energy, if you know what I mean. And then also I keep feeling compelled to say that I'm pretty sure that Australia is really known for their opal. So maybe that resonates with you. Like maybe the person you came here today to ask about is Australian. And that's why you're here and that's why you chose this crystal. So we will keep that there. Okay. So to start off your reading, each pile is going to get, or has gotten at this point, one oracle card. So I pulled cards from the Lovers Oracle deck, and it's kind of been interesting as I've been, if you've been in a couple of the other piles or not. Basically, like sometimes I read oracle cards first. I tend to prefer to read them after I do the tarot, because I just I feel like it's like nice to get that, like, oh my God, it resonates. Like, look at this oracle card. So it's been interesting to do it the opposite way. So we'll see what your oracle card has to say first, and then we'll get into your 5 tarot card messages. So let's see, pile 4. Okay. Life is a series of constantly shifting cycles. When we resist change, we resist the natural flow of life and create unnecessary stress. Go with the flow. You will be surprised where it leads. Love that for you. I'm actually really excited. I don't know if I have like any additional messages to like add to that, because that's pretty profound. So hopefully that resonates with you in some way. And let's see what your tarot cards have to say about that oracle message. The tarot deck that I'm using today is the Lovely Omens I can't talk. Okay. The Lovely Omens tarot deck, which I will link to below. You may have seen this deck used a few times on YouTube, or maybe you have it yourself. Okay, so you got the 7 of Swords. Interesting. The King of Wands. Oh my gosh, can you even see? Okay, I might need to zoom out. You have the Tower. Actually, I'm going to zoom out. I hope that doesn't freak anybody out. Okay. And then you have the King of Swords. Okay. And the 2 of Cups. Well. Okay. Okay, pile 4. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into it. So you have the Tower obviously at the top, or I should say in the middle of your pile here. And I think, don't get scared. I know if you're familiar with tarot, then you're familiar with the tarot card. And really, I think sometimes it's just kind of like unexpected change, which is really interesting because, I think that your oracle card really speaks to that very, very eloquently, where it's like these tower moments are going to happen to us, and it's important to just go with the flow. So that's just kind of like the first message that I'm getting here. The second one, I'm just going to move these over because I'm kind of like losing light, and your cards are turning like really dark and bright and awkward, and I'm really sorry. Oh, anyway, yeah. So I think first message right off the bat, go with the flow. Second thing is, okay, again, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Okay, pile 4. You might have been in a situation, or maybe you're currently in a situation where you maybe were like, there's a couple different things coming in. First of all is you maybe are dating 2 different people, and these 2 people are very much your type, and you kind of idolize them. I don't know why I said that. I don't want to say idolize because that sounds weird for someone that you're dating, but I kind of get the sense that it's like, you're like, this person is it, but you feel that way for both people. And both of these people bring 2 completely different aspects of what it is that you're looking for in a relationship to you. And I think that one person kind of came in unexpectedly while you are maybe starting to form a connection or a deeper connection with the other. This can land with you in 2 different ways. I do get the sense that one person you may be, and again, you could be physically attracted to both, but I think it's interesting that you chose the opal crystal, and that was sort of the message that resonated the most with me for this pile, was about like the intense physical attraction. So it's possible that maybe the first person that you're dating is like real, that you were dating or forming a connection with, was really creative. They brought a lot of like physical or sexual energy to your connection, and you really, really loved that. But maybe deep down there is something with that person, or maybe there is something with that person that you feel like you can't trust. Or maybe it's like there's also a message here about sort of deciding between these 2 people and like being honest with yourself. And I think it's possible that one or both of these people came into your life when you were not expecting it and caused like almost like a huge shift. Like, again, I'm kind of feeling like you were going down the path of like seeing someone. I want to say that they feel familiar, like it's like, oh, like, yeah, like I've been seeing this person for 6 months, and maybe you were at the time or whatever, maybe that's now, where you're like, okay, I think I'm going to commit to this person. And then out of nowhere, somebody else who's like your dream person comes in. And it's almost weird that I'm saying this, because it's like, I'm like I date like one person at a time. Like I have a boyfriend now, obviously, but I don't know why I say it, obviously. I don't even know anymore. Like, I feel like I'm like rambling. I'm very sorry. But I feel like, yeah, like you were like, oh, like I'm going to commit to like one of these people. And then all of a sudden this other person came in and you're like, holy crap. Like, I don't even know. Like, this person feels like magic coming into your life. And you're sort of like stuck now with, unfortunately, like the decision to decide, because maybe you're also the type of person that's like, I only date one person at a time. Like, I don't even know how to handle this. One person I'm insanely attracted to and they have all these great qualities. The other person I'm insanely attracted to and they have all these great qualities. And you might be kind of like stuck in sort of this like, holy crap, like I'm trying to find my person. What is this? There might even be a part of you that's sort of like, even if it's not stuck between two people, like maybe like stuck between two sides of, or maybe like focusing only on two different aspects of a relationship that you think are important. So for example, you might only be focused on like how someone makes you feel, like, oh God, what is the attraction when you're attracted to somebody, to their mind? If someone knows that, please comment, because that's kind of like what I'm feeling is like, oh, I'm so focused on the fact that I only am attracted to someone who, like I find it like intelligence is really attractive to me. I swear there's like a word for that and I forget what it is and I apologize. But so maybe you're like that. And then you're like, oh my God, but this other person brings all these other like more fluid, I don't know why I'm saying fluid, but more creative, like passionate, like whatever, like you're attracted to like their body or something. So you're kind of like caught between like two different ways of thinking is kind of like what I'm feeling. And you're like, I don't even know where to go next because both of these things feel great. Both of these things are like what I want. I do think that there is an opportunity for one of these people to be your partner. Sometimes the Two of Cups can be like a soulmate card if you resonate with that. So I think that there is a potential here, but I do think that you kind of need to, and I think this is kind of like a spiritual lesson to really like dive deep and, don't resist just because like this is happening, like don't resist. Okay, pile 4. Apologies. I'm having like horrendous luck with tech issues today. This is the second time that my camera has died in the filming of this entire video. Anyway, if that's not a message of don't give up on hope, I don't know what is. Okay, so basically pile 4 kind of left off with, don't resist the change. Don't resist the choice that you might need to make. This other person may have come into your life for a reason to help you understand yourself a little bit better, which is always great. And yeah, I think that, I think that's really kind of like the message is like tower moments don't always have to be bad. But they do kind of make us aware of ourselves. So, really sort of like, don't cheat yourself out of something like long-term happiness just because like either it's just because you were with somebody for a very long time or like starting to form a connection with them, but something might feel off. And then this other person might feel great. Maybe you don't commit right now and you sort of like are honest. I think that's another part of it is like, be honest with yourself, be honest with everyone involved. And I think you'll come out on top. So pile 4, let's get some more messages for you. I'm feeling 2 more. Whoa. Okay. Those came out really fast. Yeah. Okay. So you have the 4 of Swords, which is kind of to me really leaning into sort of like the message of like, maybe what I was kind of like feeling at the end here was like, being honest about what it is that you truly sort of like want in this situation. And like, don't cheat yourself out of something like some potential long-term happiness and maybe don't commit right away, which is interesting how you got this. It's sort of like a moment of like taking a rest. So maybe it's time to sort of like really dive deep within yourself and evaluate what it is that you want. And I think, like I said, right before I pulled these cards, I think you'll be better for it. And then you also have the Nine of Wands. And I think that's also speaking to like, don't resist the change. You know, I think a lot of times we can kind of like hold on to sort of like some limiting beliefs where like, oh, well, I'm really attracted to person one because, you know, that's the person I've always seen myself with. And I need to do this or that or the other thing. You know, or maybe maybe person two is coming to your life and you're like, I have never considered this type of person before in the past. So therefore it can never work out. So I think, you know, there's like a message here of like, let go a little bit. And, yeah, I think I really I can feel that. It's like, there's like a tension and maybe you're overthinking things a bit. Which is totally fair. I mean, if this situation is resonating for you, I mean, that's kind of like a big deal. You know, you may have started down this path with somebody and then somebody else great comes in and you're like, oh my God, like maybe that's not even you at all, you know, where you're like, oh, I never even considered myself to be the person to like have to like evaluate a relationship in this way. So anyway, pile 4, I think those are all the messages I have for you today. I hope this message resonated. If it did, like and subscribe to the video. I'm fairly new to the YouTube channel the YouTube channel, with my tarot card readings. So stay tuned for more videos. I have a series that will be launching, this Saturday, the 17th of February. And it's a Saturday morning vibe check. So, you know, we'll be sort of like evaluating. I have some great content coming up where, you know, on Saturday mornings, pour yourself a cup of coffee, get a cup of tea, whatever it is that's going to make you feel cozy. And we can all sort of like dive in together with some pick a card readings, just to kind of evaluate the vibe of the weekend, kind of like what it is you need to know in that moment. So yeah, so more of those to come. First one launching this Saturday, as I mentioned, on the 17th of February. I am filming this video on the 13th of February. I'm hoping to get it up and live for Valentine's Day. So it's tomorrow. Very ambitious plans. Anyway, pile 4, I'm so happy that you had a seat at my table today. Thank you so much for letting me read your cards for you. I hope this resonated. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.